Buenos días, bienvenidos a la semana 5, o sea, la quinta semana. Okay, so I'm going to review what it is that you'll be covering and the assignments you'll be doing this week. So again, after this video is recorded, I will place the video here. And then we have los objetivos y metas para la segunda parte de capítulo 2. So we are going to be completing capítulo 2, and as you do that, you will be able to conjugate regular verbs, Spanish verbs in the present tense, and be able to use them in conversation, such as statements, asking, answering questions in order to communicate about a variety of basic topics. You'll be able to formulate, ask and answer questions, including both yes-no types as well as those requesting information, using appropriate vocabulary, intonation of voice, and word order. You'll be able to recognize the difference between and the characteristics of formal versus informal register. There were some problems with that on the first dialogue, so hopefully this will help clarify some of that. You'll be able to express location and current condition using the appropriate forms of the verb estar. And you'll be able to use some negative constructions such as nothing and never appropriately. Okay? So after watching this video, you'll read the textbook and complete the corresponding My Spanish Lab activities. The quiz this week is in My Spanish Lab. Okay? There's not a quiz in Blackboard this week. You'll turn in dialogue number 3, which will be due Wednesday on February 6th. And you can start looking at dialogue 4, which will be due the following week on February 13th. And I will be putting up this week the new partners for Diálogos 4, 5, y 6. Also, don't forget about your hour of language and cultural contact. And using those hours that you have accumulated, you can begin working on your language and cultural contact presentation. This first one will be due at the end of week 6 on February 17th. Okay? So, here we have lista de tareas. So this will tell you specifically the pages 51 through 65 that we'll be covering in the textbook. But I highly recommend you download either here or here the Semana 5 plan, which will give you an actual breakdown on read these pages, then do these My Spanish Lab activities, then read these pages, then do these activities. And it culminates with the quiz at the end. Okay? Again, reminders on the dates. Diálogo 3 is for this Wednesday, February 6th. Diálogo 4 is for the next February 13th. Okay? So, Diálogo 3 due this week. Hopefully you've already had a chance to look at it. Okay? And so, like all dialogues, you are going to be switching roles. And again, you can do that. It's actually easier to do it all in one document or one file, video file. Okay? In this one, we have un diálogo entre un o una recepcionista y un o una paciente. Okay, so the first time around, someone will be the receptionist, the other will be the patient, and then you'll switch roles. Okay, this is going to be using vocabulary structures and expressions you learned throughout Chapter 1, as well as pages 33 through 49 of Chapter 2 as a reference. Make sure you have appropriate greetings, okay, introductions, okay, full name and profession. Ask the patient what his or her name is, how to spell his or her first name and last name, apellido. Find out how he or she is feeling today. Ask him or her for his birth date. Okay. What is his or her address? What is his or her profession? And find out at what time is his or her appointment. And then the appropriate thank yous and the closings. Okay? So you'll do that twice, switching roles. Okay? When you're done with Diálogo 3, you can see the instructions for Diálogo 4, which here is Un diálogo entre un doctor en la sala de emergencias y un paciente que acaba de tener un accidente de bicicleta. Okay? So one person will play doctor, or, depending on your gender, doctora Perez, and the other person will play a young man or woman who has just come into the emergency room after being in a bike accident. Okay? So you'll have the appropriate greetings, introductions. A doctor should introduce themselves, as the doctor and give their name. Ask the patient for his or her name, how to spell both the first and last, apellido, name. Find out how he or she feels, and ask some questions to see how cognizant this person is. Like, where does he or she live? Do they know the time? Okay, what time is it? What is his or her birth date? With whom does this person live? And you should be using family vocabulary from chapter 2. So if you don't live with any family, pretend you do. Okay? Appropriate thank yous and the closings. Okay? So that will again be due the following week, semana 6. Okay? All right. The next link on the page is actually the cultural language and cultural contact. So here's a brief introduction about what it is. Okay. Basically, what you are going to be doing is creating a PowerPoint with voiceover. Screencast-O-Matic is great for that. Okay. And you should be stating, one, a summary of the activities that you used for your contact hours and give your thoughts about them. New vocabulary learned. Now, it is not necessary to tell us all the new vocabulary, but what is the most pertinent or most important vocabulary for you that you learned? But the most important part is cultural practices or nuances that you observed. What I want you to see is, how are things culturally different between your experiences and your own personal experiences within your own culture. Okay? This will be in English, and it should be approximately 5 minutes long. Okay? I do have an example of one which was pretty good, however, a little long. So this one goes way over the time limit. Okay? However, the visual presentation as well as the content show a very thorough example. And so you would want to be a little bit more precise, as to what it is you want to say, and limit it to 5 minutes. Okay. The next link that you would discover would be the recursos. Okay. Here again, we have some reviews of the pronunciación del alfabeto, gender of nouns, possessive adjectives. I have some PowerPoints on verb conjugation, for both AR as well as ER-IR verbs. Interrogative words, words looking for information and questions. And then some PowerPoints over estar for you to use. Okay, so once you have completed all of that, you are done. So as always, please let me know if you have any questions y espero que tengan un buen fin de semana y una buena semana. Gracias. Bella.